The RLCS World Championship this year is the single biggest Rocket League tournament ever. In 2019, the Season 8 RLCS World Championship took place in Madrid. This is where 12 teams from 4 different regions competed for the title of World Champion, and ultimately NRG was the team who won. Three seasons and 3 years later, we've now doubled in size to include 24 teams from 8 different regions who are competing in the 2021-22 RLCS World Championship. In this video, we're going to be going over the teams who made it to Dickies Arena, as well as talking about their rosters, which region they are from, and when you can watch them in August. Format for the RLCS World Championship this year was explained in a video in September 15th earlier on in 2021. So let's cut to that clip from Psyonix, Ian, and Murdy to explain everything.
So for the World Championship, it's going bigger than ever. It's going to have 2 distinct parts of the World Championship this time around. The World Championship Wildcard, which is a 16-team tournament that feeds the top 8 teams from that team into the World Championship main event. And Murdy, you want to go more into depth onto the format for those two?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Wildcard is going to be the classic Swiss that Ian hates. And we're going to get 8 teams out of that, and they're going to qualify to meet the other 8 teams that qualified via that major point system that we were talking about, right? Like if NA's grabbing all those slots, those are the teams we're going to see automatically at the main event. And then the World Championship itself is going to be 2 groups of 8. Each group plays a double elimination, and then that's followed by a super intense single elimination playoffs.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that explanation. Let's get into the wildcard portion first. 16 teams, 8 different regions, 8 teams moving on to the group stage. You can watch this portion of things from August 4th to the 7th. Now let's take a look at the 16 teams who made it into the wildcard stage of things. Representing the SSA, or the Sub-Saharan Africa region, is Orlando Pirates XD and Bravado Gaming. For Orlando Pirates, we have Snowy, Skillsteel, Darth, and CP Zebra as their coach, along with Timmy JS as the sub. For Bravado Gaming, we have Daisy, Happy Meal, To Die For, and Slayer as their coach, with Fearless Carrot as the sub. Next up, we have 2 teams from the MENA, or Middle East and North Africa region. Those teams are Veloce Esports and 01 Esports, and here are their rosters. You might recognize Senzo on the Veloce Esports team, as he used to be a part of Sandrock Gaming. Now joining him is SMW and Twiz on Veloce Esports, along with their substitute Impressive. On 01 Esports, we have Zazonix, AMS, M7SN, and Crespor, who is their sub. Now let's take a look at Asia Pacific North and South, or APAC. From the north, we have Tokyo Verde. From the south, we have Gaming Gladiators. Here are their rosters. Tokyo Verde have Realize, Tenhao, Sigums, and Homie as their coach. Gaming Gladiators have LCT, Maxu, Abs Crazy, and OSM as their coach, Commutator as their sub. Flying in out of South America is going to be Team Secret, as well as the club. Team Secret, one of 2 teams who 3-0 swept Team BDS at the London Major, so they're expected to make it pretty far. And alongside them, the club. It used to be Stoner 8 Club, or SAC, and also Era Eternity before that. Now looking at these rosters, Team Secret have Sad, Knight, Math, and Bruno Visque as their coach. And the club has Astromic, KV1, and Lost, with 2 different coaches, so not entirely sure which one of them is going to be coming with them to the World Championship. Can't forget about OCE, which has Pioneers and Renegades. Pioneers were the 2nd team to 3-0 sweep Team BDS and knocked them out in the lower bracket of the competition at the London Major. A lot of expectations riding on them after that performance, and almost sweeping Space Station Gaming before getting reverse swept to make it out of the Swiss stage wildcard format. Alongside them, Renegades, as I mentioned before, CJ, a lot of expectations for him and his team to make it forward and improve from their performances of not making the London Major. As we heard from him, very excited to qualify, but his fate was in the hands of other teams. Now it's all in their hands to try and make it forward. Looking at those rosters, for Pioneers, we have Scrub, Super Lucky, Banana Head, and Threes as their coach. Renegades have Kami, CJ, Fever, and LBP as their coach. Rounding out the wildcard portion of things, we have 3 EU teams and 3 NA teams. From Europe, we have Dignitas, Carmine Corp, and Semper Esports, with their rosters shown here. Questions remain on exactly how well Dignitas and Semper can perform, but with Carmine's major result, it would be surprising if they fail to make the group stage. Playing pretty close to home out of North America, we have Version 1, Space Station Gaming, and Optic Gaming. All 3 of these teams with their rosters shown on screen could be expected to make it out of the Swiss stage, into the group stage, and even into the main event itself. Whew, that was a lot of teams. Well, here are the 16 teams competing in the wildcard stage format. You don't need me to repeat it anymore. I'll leave it on screen for a little bit while I'm talking, but while you are here looking at all these teams, heard their rosters and some of their stories, let me know in the comments down below which 8 of these teams you think are going to make it into the group stage format, joining the next 8 we're about to talk about. Now let's get into the final 8 teams competing in the group stage, specifically at the World Championship. Representing MENA in the group stages is Team Falcons.
And now please welcome back to the stage the team of Ahmad, Khaled, and TRK. They are Team Falcons.
This roster made history after placing second at the London Major. This has been the first time ever that a non-NA or EU team placed that highly in a major. With 2 back-to-back top 6 major finishes, Furia booked their ticket into the group stage for South America. Kaio, Card, and Yan, this stellar roster, have shown that you can't count out South America for any moment throughout this event. Our last 3 North American teams competing in the World Championship who auto-qualified for the group stages are G2 Esports, FaZe Clan, and the General NRG. As you can see on their screen, their names pretty familiar with these rosters. So let's get into the last 3 European teams that remain as well. Those teams include Moist Esports, Team BDS, and Endpoint. And here's their rosters as well. Here are some final questions to keep in mind while we're looking at these 8 teams who auto-qualified to the group stage based on their placements throughout the season and the majors themselves. Can NRG defend their title as the reigning world champions, which they won at Season 8 in Madrid? Can Moist Esports use the momentum from their victory at the London Major to cement themselves as the #1 team in the world? Final question as well for that. Will there be, for the first time in RLCS history, a non-NA or EU world champion? Luckily, don't have to wait too long for the group stages to answer all those questions, as the dates for those are August 9th to the 13th. It's going to take place alongside 2 double elimination brackets of 8 teams each, where 4 teams from both those brackets meet together on August 14th for a single elimination playoff bracket to decide who is going to win the coveted title of RLCS World Champion. Thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe and all that stuff that YouTubers typically say. Again, I do plan to make more of this content, so stay tuned for that. Let me know in the comments down below out of the 24 teams we talked about today, which one you think is going to come out on top with the title of World Champion for the 2021-22 season. If you don't know who I am Vodable, or Nick Ambrosic. I am a CRL analyst, commentator, and host. And speaking of Collegiate Rocket League, this Sunday, on my birthday, July 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern, at twitch.tv/Vodable, I am hosting the CCA Summer Series $30,000 play-ins, where teams from the East and West will be competing for 12 Division 1 and 12 Division 2 league play spots. I'll be hosting the league play itself throughout the season intermittently with Seb. Big shout out to him. So definitely tune into that this weekend. Link down below in the description. As well, at the end of the month, I am hosting the AAA Challenger Series Championships, which is a $35,000 tournament. Teams like the General NRG, Torrent, Psyonix, Ghost Gaming, and many more. Definitely want to pay attention to that. It's July 30th and 31st. But with that out of the way, I hope you all enjoy your off season while we wait for the World Championships, and I'll see you all there.